Hey, good deal. Woo. All right. Wednesday, Qigong. I'm going to turn a little bit of light on. Been enjoying the day without any electrical light, but let's put a little light on the subject. I don't know if it'll help or not. Probably not. It's okay. Got a minute or two here. Great. Whew. Got the little soreness in between my shoulder blades today. Time to work that out. It's always fascinating to me, all these little sorenesses we have. One of my favorite points on the body is the large intestine 4, Hoku. Hoku, the most famous acupressure point in the world. Let's see if I can get around here in a place where you can see. Terrible lighting. Oh my gosh. Okay. Put a little extra light on. There. Right there. Where your thumb. You squeeze the thumb, you see that big mound of flesh there? Open the thumb up and then press in underneath the bone. That's large intestine number 4. Oh. And you want to press in without pressing too hard, but just enough. There. Almost like a little bit of an electric feeling goes through the point and then sends a streaming sensation up your arm. This channel flows all the way up to your nose here. There's a point right outside the sinuses there called welcome fragrance. Right there. Just breathe that in. Nice. Hoku. Shake it out. Shake it out. Ready to get started. Ring the temple bell. Oh, we just love those acupoints. Oh, multiple points of contact is the name of the game, but usually on yourself, you have a hard time stimulating more than one point at a time. Sometimes, well, with both hands, you could do the chest points, yeah, belly points, back points, knuckles in the kidney point back here, really important point back there. Oh, yeah, I think these chest points are good. I like to kind of use a little leverage. That's the idea. Yeah, so, the Meridian Qigong that I teach isn't just about swinging your arms around and all that. It's about getting to know these meridians and use a little acupressure. This is a self acupressure treatment. I just put on some mystical music. 60 minutes of mystical music. A new experiment. I never heard this music before, but it's fun. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. See, I've had this little crick in the base of my skull. Not base of my skull, base of my neck, top of my back. I'm just gonna put my fingers, hook my fingers. These fingers are hooked. And I hook them right across the spine. They hook in, and then I'm just going to use this hand on my jaw to move some chi along the cervical vertebrae. I'm actually moving my hooked fingers up the spine. There's a set of acupoints right along the edge of the spine there on both sides. They're called the Wa-Tuo Jia-Ji points. And I just like the sound of that, the Wa-Tuo Jia-Ji. And Wa-Tuo Jia-Ji points right along the spine, they really have a lot to do with your physical body alignment. So I'm just using the hooked fingers right along the side of the spine. And I'm using my hand here on the jaw to gently move my head into my fingers. So my fingers really don't do any pressure. They just hold, and then I move my head into the fingers. Oh, there. And I'm looking for that spot. There we go. Okay, enough of that. Woo, shake, shake, shake. Yeah, you got to usually shake out your hands after that, releasing things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it feels better. Roll the shoulders. There we go. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of a different kind of style class today. This class is going to be based on, what are some of the sensations I'm feeling in my body that seem to want to move. When we've got stuck energy in the body, we've got a few options we can do. We can do acupressure, we can do breathing, we can do movement. So let's do some movement, do some acupressure, and see if we can get some of these feelings that are stuck to become unstuck. You will not see if we can, we will see that we can, actually. Oh my goodness. So a little bit of digestion there. I'm now taking my fingers, again, hooked fingers, and rubbing them up under the rib cage. On the right side of the rib cage, right in here, this is the gallbladder area. On the left side, this is the stomach. Now, these two are very strong yang channels of energy. All right. And these yang energy channels are typically a little tight. They're a little stiff. They're a little overactive because they're yang. Yang is the active principle, right? If you go down to the sides over here from the gallbladder, you move laterally and you get into the liver area. On the left side, you move laterally and you get into the triple warmer area. There we go. And so now I'm going under those ribs. It's usually a little easier to get under the ribs when you're a little further out from the center. Closer in, you're up on that muscle belly of the rectus abdominis. And so that's going to be naturally a little tighter, a little more muscle to dig through. But out here, there's less muscle and you can get in under the ribs pretty easily. Again, we're using leverage. So roll the hands. There we go. Oh, yeah. Now, what's interesting about this area, this upper belly and under the ribs, it releases the top of the back. So because I've got this tightness in the top of my back, I want to do some work in my upper abdomen. Yeah, as I work on the upper abdominals and breathe. Remember that? That's a really important part of our Qigong practice is breathing. Yeah, Now I can feel that upper back beginning to release and relax. A little more breath. Especially as I come here under my triple warmer. My triple warmer area feels a little bit what we call kyo, a little deficient. Also a little more yin feeling. And then over here to the liver area, again, that's a little more yin feeling than the gallbladder and the stomach. Yeah, shake it out, shake it out. Good. Oh, that's some work, right? There, I feel it in my triple warmer here in the back of the arm. Triple warmer in the back of the arm. So I'm going to release those muscles. Pop them out a little bit. You can also pound on the top of the great trapezius muscle. That's where that triple warmer runs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Out along the side of the arm. Triple warmer. See, it starts at the ring finger, right? Remember, we do these tapping. Ring finger up behind the ear to the eyebrow, right? Ring finger, back of the arm, shoulder, behind the ear, and to the eyebrow. There we go. That's the triple warmer energy. Shake it out. There we go. Oh. So let me explore a little bit with these three yin qualities. There's a Tai yin, a Shui yin, and a Xiao yin. We call those the three yin layers, right? The Tai yin is the most superficial layer. The Shui yin is the middle layer of yin. And then the Xiao yin is the deepest layer of yin. And we do those three layers of yin in our meridian gesture exercises. Now, why would you want to, right? So, well, one thing is, of course, superficial yin is really important, right? This is our lung and our spleen energies. So we can combine our lung movement and our spleen movement to create a nice Qigong gesture to emphasize this energy of what we call the Tai Yin or the superficial yin. Now, superficial yin starts at the big toe, comes all the way up the spleen channel, outside the breast, and tails down into the side ribs, then comes up to this lung 1 point and goes out to the thumb. So that's why this gesture is working with the Tai Yin energy. Now, why is that important? Lungs and spleen. Okay, they're both very important. Lungs and spleen are kind of on the yin layer. We call it the first layer that connects with the world around you. Lung holds the Wei Qi, and Wei Qi is your breath Qi, right? The Qi that connects you and protects you in your environment. And spleen energy is called the Gu Qi, or the food Qi, right? So food and air, two major components in living a healthy life, right? You want to breathe clean air and eat clean food. There we go. So lungs and spleen. Yeah. And you know, it's interesting, dry will damage the lungs and wet will damage the spleen. So it's the wet, dry continuum, right? You want moist foods, right? Moist foods, but not damp foods. So things like cheese and ice cream, those are damp because they're cold and cloyy, and they tend to put out the digestive fire. Whereas warm, moist foods will heat up the digestive fire. So like putting ginger in your soup, right? So there's our Tai Yin. Lung and spleen. There we go. And let's go ahead and tap a little bit along that spleen line, which is a way of kind of getting ready for what would we call a white crane, right? That's a big movement, but it's a lot of spleen energy, right? We'll talk a little bit more about that because obviously we just opened up some Shaoyin, right? But there's that spleen energy. And of course, you can do this sitting in a chair and you won't have the danger of falling over, right? Very nice idea, you know, grab your chair, have a seat. And now you can kind of put your foot up like that and just tap along your spleen channel in the leg, right? From the big toe, instep, behind the tibia, along the top of the thigh. That's spleen. Second side. On both sides, they're bilaterally symmetrical. There's our nice spleen channel. Wake it up a little bit. If you want to do a successful white crane, you want to have access to this spleen energy. Comes up through the belly, outside the breast, and tails down. There's a really important point here on the spleen channel. It flows from the spleen channel into the heart channel. This is the connecting vessel point where the spleen feeds the heart. So that's where we're going to get to Shaoyin later in our discussion here. But spleen into heart is where we want our spleen, we want our food to support our heart energy, right? Actually, one of the leading causes of a coronary or cardiac condition is a poor diet. So good diet, good heart. Go ahead and tap on spleen 21, the great embracement point. It's about 4 fingers down from the armpit, on the directly on the side of the body, between the ribs. Called the 6th intercostal space. There we go. Shake it out. Shake it out. That's a way to do spleen and lung, and using both movement of Qigong and some tapping and some self-acupressure techniques. Yeah, good. Lungs, not here, lung 1 all the way to the thumb, lung 1 all the way to the thumb. Oh, I haven't done a nice tapping class in a while. Really important way to learn your meridians as well as to stimulate your meridians. And I just was remembering, I'm already feeling that thing we call the Qi high. There's a high that comes from the chi. Now, I'm going to keep going through the layers from the superficial yin or greater yin. We're going to move up to the shui yin, the middle yin condition, the shui yin, which is going to be liver and pericardium. So liver also starts in that big toe, comes up the middle calf, middle thigh, up into the belly and then to the lower ribs. And then the pericardium starts outside the nipple and goes out to the middle finger. So here's our shui yin, middle yin. So liver and pericardium, very important meridians also, right? Very important channels, very important functions in the body. Remember, we found that liver on the right side, just lateral, right? Not all the way out to the side, about halfway from the center to the side, right? Lateral, right in there. That's that liver, right? Yep. And when we do our liver gesture, we rise up like this, right? We call it the breathing of the universe. Let's do a little breathing of the universe. Rising up on the toes, widening out the hands. Exhale, close it down. Inhale wide, we're holding the whole galaxy in our hands. The liver is the great visionary meridian. So go ahead and tap into your sense of yourself as a visionary. Yeah, send a visionary feeling and inspiration to the world, really, as best we can. We want to get this message out to the world. Yeah, there we go. Oh. It's interesting, I have a little cheese in my salad today, and I can feel it in my mucus. So I got a little bit of dampness in there, but liver is going to help me digest it. So one of my favorite dietary principles about the liver is don't eat for your taste. Don't eat for the immediate moment. Eat for your liver, which means how are you going to feel 4 hours after your meal? Make your food choices based on how it makes you feel 4 hours later, not in the next 15 or 20 minutes, not in the next 5 minutes where you're just feeling satiated because you filled yourself. But how's your energy 4 hours later? Yeah, there we go. So this is opening the liver channel, but also notice how it's opening pericardium. And you'll remember our pericardium gesture, where we bring those hands together in front of the heart center, extend those arms, drop the head, breathe, take those arms out to the sides, pulled by the wrist, hold right, hold left. Now, what's important in this gesture is to make sure that your hips, you're not shifting from one foot to the other dramatically with your weight. You're keeping your hips pretty much stable and just moving the upper body. Now, moving the upper body will move your weight over the foot, but you don't want to move your hips. What you want to do is keep this energy focused up here in the pericardium channel, which goes from the breast out to the middle finger. What's the pericardium? Upright, sweep it wide. Oh, big breath. What is that pericardium? We call it the muscle of the heart, right? Woo, yeah, you can wave that a little bit. Ooh, I like the image of what I call the drawbridge of the heart. So if you conceive of your heart as like the palace where your sovereignty resides, then the pericardium is the drawbridge. Maybe it's even the portcullis, right? We're going to raise the portcullis or lower it. Raise the drawbridge or lower the drawbridge. Do we let people into our heart or do we keep them out of our heart? Pericardium is on the job, deciding whether it's safe to lower the drawbridge or whether there's danger and it's time to raise the drawbridge. That's why you have monsters in the moat. I found these old figurines that I got for my sons when they were little, and they're all pirates and knights and horses. I got them a lot of horses. because we want to have a nice protection for our castle. There we go. Pericardium. That's the shui yin. This is the middle yin tradition, right? Traditionally, yeah, that's it. We're going through what we call the 6 divisions of yin and yang today. And so this is the 2nd division of yin, the middle yin. All right. So just a little bit of a review. Lung, spleen, tie in. Breathe. Soften. Use that 70-30 rule. Remember your Qigong, 70-30. Follow the breath. My head is organic. It can move this way and that. Main thing I want to do is articulate my awareness of this channel from the big toe to the thumb. Then step a little wider. Squeeze and breathing of the universe as we open the shui yin. Rising up on the toes. Sinking back on the heels. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's the shui yin. Let's just do a little bit of tapping out that shui yin pericardium. I couldn't hardly resist. Every yin has a yang, right? The yin. So what's fun, going to the area in the belly. So you got an area right up here, just under the xiphoid process, solar plexus area. That's related to your heart. And then just below that, on the way to the navel, not at the navel yet, there's my belly button. So just above this, this is the pericardium area. Now, earlier we did the lung and the spleen channels. In the belly, you've got the lung out here. This is all the way at the lateral. It's like in between the ribs and the hips. And the spleen is all around the navel, right around the umbilicus. So you can rub all around the umbilicus to help your spleen release. Oh, this is really good for digestion. Oh, yeah, there we go. And for the breath, you know how you get a stitch in your side? It's usually inadequate oxygen exchange while you're running. And so you get a stitch in your side right there at the lung point. Lung areas. There we go. Whew. So we've done the lung and the spleen, the pericardium, and the liver. Those are yin meridians, right? And then we're going to move into the Shao Yin. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get to Shao Yin, we're going to sit down again. And we're going to just do a little exploration of the liver. Yeah, interesting. Liver, again, you could put the leg up and then go along the middle of the calf and the middle of the thigh. So spleen is much closer to the front of the thigh, right? Just under the trough, just behind the tibia. And the liver is back in the muscle of the gastroc and in that middle region of the thigh. Not so much toward the front, but toward the middle. So like squeezing and releasing, squeezing and releasing. Teacher Lee has a beautiful Qigong called Awakening the Soul. Let's do a little Awakening the Soul. So you sit in your chair. This is a seated Qigong, elbows together. So as your elbows go wide, you lean back and lift your heels. As your elbows come narrow, you lean forward and lift your toes. You can see my feet in this picture. So lift the heels, and as the elbows come together, lift your toes. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Lean back, up on toes, lean forward, lift the toe. The elbows are moving apart, the elbows are moving together with the breath. Inhale, exhale. You may be able to begin to see how this affects that liver channel and the pericardium channel. You may feel a little bit tired in the upper shoulders. Keep going, just a little bit more. This is awakening the soul. Well, the soul can be a pretty abstract concept. Well, one of my favorite, physicalizations of the feeling of the soul is it's just bigger than the body. But it's like the size and shape of the body, only bigger. So like the heart is right there in the center of the chest, and it's a certain size. And the soul, the heart of the soul surrounds the physical heart, but it's just a little bigger. And it's like light. So we're awakening the soul. Woo! Easy, easy, easy. 70-30 rule. Okay, 2 more times. Let's do a radiant heart gesture. Seated radiant heart gesture. Pull down a little starlight. Oh, I'm gonna do that 2 more times. Seated radiant heart gesture. One more time. This time, bringing the hands together in front of the heart center with a gentle bow. Acknowledge yourself for your practice. Bring your hands together to this area of the liver, just under the right ribs. And then we're going to find a point, both sides, under the breast. In that 6th intercostal space on the mammillary line. There's a hollow, there's a space there between the ribs. We're just going to rub into that. This is the last point on the liver meridian, liver number 14. It's called the gate of completion. There we go. Good. Shake it out. So, Tai Yin to Shui Yin. Now let's look at Shao Yin. It's an even deeper quality of Yin. I'm going to invite you to stand back up and step wide. And now you'll remember this gesture, which is dropping down into the well, carrying it up into the fountain. This Shao Yin energy is kidney and heart. Most of the textbooks say that the kidney starts in the bottom of the foot. Some of them say it starts in the pinky toe, then crosses the bottom of the foot. Rises up the inside of the thigh, up through the groin, up through the chest, and then we spread it out into the heart channel, which starts in the armpit and flows out to the pinky finger. Sink into that knee bend. Go ahead and lift your heels off the floor and hold that many-pointed star. There's your Shao Yin quality. Deep Yin, kidney and heart. Yes, you know how important the kidney and the heart are. They're very closely related to blood pressure conditions. Woo, yeah, kidney particularly is involved with blood pressure. More so than the heart. I mean, the heart is the pump and the muscle. But the kidney regulates water in the body, volume. And blood is a fluid medium. Woo, hold that 5-pointed star until your blood pressure comes down. Oh, there you go. Release those hands coming down to the knees for this nice lunge work that we do. Xiaoyin. Yeah, it's nice and deep, this Xiaoyin energy. You know, remember how we bring that hands in front of the heart center with the deep knee bend and the wide stance lifting the heels. I'm not sure we do this every class, but did you know this is a kidney expression? This is stimulating kidney channel up into the heart, and it actually is leading us into the pericardium as well. So Xiaoyin to Zhuiyin, Huiyin to Taiyin. Woo! Yes, that's right. Go a little deeper with that knee bend. Keep the heels off the floor. Ah, nice breath. Feel that breath in the dantian. Lower the heels, straighten up. Woo, let's stand in Wu Ji for a minute. We've activated all of our yin energies. So bend those knees gently. Elbows elevated and bent. Hands soft. Chin parallel to the floor. Touch the tip of the tongue on the top palate. Eyes are barely open. Focus inward. Slow, deep breath. Three layers of yin. From Wu Ji, let's do our Tai Yin Qigong. Going into lung and spleen. From our Tai Yin Qigong, let's step a little wider. And with the breathing of the universe, do our Yin Qigong. Feel how it's going deeper into your interior. If you feel like you're up for it, stay balanced on your toes and go ahead and stretch out that drawbridge. Will I reach out to those on my right? Reach out to those on my left. You could certainly do this with your heels back on the floor too. Yin. Up. And then sweep down, step a little wider, and go right into your Xiaoyin Qigong, kidney heart. Deepest, innermost feelings about life and death. This is vitality and passion. Woo. Go ahead and raise up into the fountain. Wings of the red bird, expanded, twirl. Raise the hands over the crown. Sink deeper into that knee bend. Rooted in the earth, turn the palms skyward and find your laughter. Big breath. Ooh, and let's look at the 3 layers of yang. There's a nice pause, transition moment through Wuji. 3 layers of yang. Ooh, you'll remember that Xiao Yin of heart energy leads us usually right into this praying to heaven to show the way, where we chop down and look over the shoulder, looking through the blind spot, right? This is our small intestine flow. And you remember how closely related to this small intestine flow is the bladder flow, where you lunge, add the lunge, sweep those arms and look behind, step back with a push. So this is Tai Yang. It's very strong energy, pushes us from behind the bladder and the small intestine. I'm driven forward and I keep an eye on my back. Stretch out through the pinky toe, right? Tai Yang energy flows from pinky toe, pinky finger, I'm sorry, up to the ear, then to the eyes, and over the top of the head, down the back body to the pinky toe. Not so easy to tap this one, but I'll give you one tapping exercise for Tai Yang. Step back and just sweep a little bit. Let's go ahead, radiant heart gesture. We'll flow into karate chop edge of the hand, tap. This back edge where get a little closer so you can see that, right? It's the pinky finger edge right here. This is the small intestine source point. It's the source point for the fire element in the body. And you can do it either way, one on top, the other on top. And we're tapping small intestine number 4. Really important point to stimulate Tai Yang energy in the body. In the head, that's at the inner canthus of the eye and the inner eyebrow. So you can tap this point at the inner eyebrow for Tai Yang. Now, Tai Yang is the great yang energy. It's a very strong energy. It's equated with the energy that pushes you from behind. Breathe into that. Soften into a little Wuji. And we'll go from our Tai Yang to our Xiao Yang. We're going to wrap around the body here to come to Xiao Yang. And Xiao Yang is in the side body. So for our Xiao Yang in the side body, it's the triple warmer and the gallbladder. So it has to do with the ring finger and the ring toe. This Xiao Yang energy of triple warmer starts in the ring finger, comes up the back of the arm, behind the ear to the eyebrow. Remember, we did that a little earlier in class, right? And then from the eye, the gallbladder goes through the side of the head into the shoulders, side ribs, under the ribs, across the girdle to the back ribs, and then in front of the hips, and then into the side buttocks, and then down the side of the leg to the 4th toe. So we can do a couple of Qigong gestures with this one, right? One, of course, is that wrapping the blanket of love around your shoulders and doing your figure 8. There's your nice triple warmer gesture. Now, when might you want to do that? So if the pericardium was the drawbridge of your heart, the pericardium is the great wall at the border of your country. So you can let them into the country or not, or you can let them into the palace or not, right? So some people will they'll get across the border into your country, but you won't let them in your palace, right? Triple warmer is the border guard, customs agent, customs house. Yeah. I remember that old Sting song, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, I'm an alien in New York. Whoa, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, Oh, yeah. Oh, America is such a melting pot. Oh, I love all the cultures that live in this country. Glide those hands down because we're world citizens ultimately. Whew, how is it that the Native Americans allowed us in here? Oh my goodness. That's your triple warmer energy. And now we're going to play with this a little bit by moving into our gallbladder channel, which goes all the way down the side body, right? All the way to that fourth toe. Now here's where we want to bring our fists involved. And I say present side body. There's something very important in this. This is actually a Tai Chi walk. So I'm going to really teach this, and I hope you can see my feet. So I'm going to make sure I may be smaller in the viewfinder there, but shift back on the back foot, turn, pivot that front heel. The heel stays down, but you pivot the foot out. Then you step forward. Shift back, pivot on the heel, step forward. Stepping back, pivot on the heel, step back, pivot on the heel. Notice that this foot that takes the weight is always 45 degrees. And back. So there is a Tai Chi walk. Here is our gallbladder gesture. Present side body. You know, this is kind of interesting. Gallbladder is your decision maker. So how do you make decisions in your life? How do you stand by the decisions that you made? And if somebody says something against what you said, how do you stand your ground and say, I'm sorry, I said this. That's what I mean. That's how you become a great communicator ultimately. But you have to be clear and you want to be kind. So kindness and compassion show up here for gallbladder and triple warmer. Open those palms into a nice open palm, Tai Chi walk, presenting side body, pivoting on heel. I like to say launch and land off that fourth toe. Woo. Woo. Oh, open palm. Punching with angry eyes, as they say in the 8 silk brocades. This is our 12 threads of silk movement, triple warmer and gallbladder, Shaoyang. Let's tap. I already did the triple warmer a few times. And let's go ahead and take triple warmer into gallbladder. And that's out at the side of the eyes, sides of the head, down the neck into the shoulders, under the rib cage, under the breasts, across the girdle, back to the hips, front of the hips, back of the hips, and side of the legs. Give them a good pound. Ooh. Over the side of the knee, fibula joint, down to the fourth toe. Go ahead and lean down a little bit. And we'll just hold our elbows and hang a bit. And a forward bend, breathe. Oh, soften. Oh, now yawn. Woo, triple warmer, gallbladder. Oh. This is another place you can release the neck a little. Gentle, gentle, easy. Oh. Then releasing the hands. Woo, roll up the spine. Slow, use your breath, nice and easy. Those forward bends can be tough if you got low blood pressure, so be careful with those. Oh, feel the Tai Yang. Oh, wow, there's a knot in the middle of my back. Oh, I'm gonna just wring it out. Wring it out. Wring it out. Oh, one last layer of yang is the front yang. Stomach, all the way down to the second toe, large intestine, up to the nose. So actually, this is one flow that goes from the index finger to the nose, and from the eyes through the breasts down to the second toe. Large intestine, stomach, which we call Yang Ming, sunlight Yang. Woo, very strong Yang energy, letting go what you no longer need. Ooh, allow it to leave you. Ooh, and then float balloon arms. Glide 1 foot back and circle of life with the pointed index finger out through the second toe and up to the sky. Here's our large intestine stomach flow. Yang Ming, sunlight Yang. See, we humans decided to walk upright. We creatures of the two-legged sort. And when we decided to walk upright, we brought our bellies up to look at the sun. Four-leggeds don't do that unless they roll on their back. We stand upright and bring our belly to the sun. Sometimes bears do too. Grizzly bear up on its back feet. Inhale up. Exhale down. Circle of life. Sunlight. Yang. One more time down to the soil and up to the sun. Feel that second toe? Not always easy to feel your second toe. Index finger is really easy to feel though. Bring it to your heart as you switch your feet and continue a circle of life down the second leg. It's interesting, you know, this year, this time of year, it's definitely a circling time of year for me. My birthday is at the end of this month, and so I'm coming up on another circle around the sun. And then out here where I live in California is our Nevada County Fair. The county fair is this week. And you know, I don't know about you, but I was raised with county fairs. And every summer comes around in a circle. Here comes the county fair again. The hogs got fat. You gotta put them out for show. Rise up, bring that sunlight into your belly. Sunlight Yang. And then bring that to your heart and turn your feet out. So I want to give a little bit more elucidation of these Yang energy flows, particularly as they relate to the hands and arms and upper body. We'll pull Qi for a little bit here first, though, in a nice Wuji stance. So there are 3 layers of Yang: the sunlight Yang, the lesser Yang, and the greater Yang. The Yang Ming, the Shao Yang, and the Tai Yang, we call it. So in the hands and in the arms, these 3 aspects of Yang show up very cleanly. And a very good analogy is to the courtroom. So you have 3 characters in a courtroom. One is the prosecuting attorney, the one that's pointing the finger. You did something wrong. Of course, the prosecutor's job, pointing the finger, is to prove that the accused did something wrong. Ooh, right? Prosecuting attorney points the finger. Then the defense attorney comes in. This is your ring finger. Here's your triple warmer. It's called the Shaoyang. No, I didn't do anything wrong. I just heard a little news snippet about Trump and his troubles with the courts. And he went to he's got a civil lawsuit against him in the Circuit Court of New York. And he pled the Fifth Amendment almost to all questions. On advice of counsel, I plead the Fifth. And his son apparently did the same when he had his trial. There was like over 800 questions that were responded to with the Fifth Amendment. Here's the defense attorney. I refuse to answer on the grounds that it might incriminate me. Chances are that's a yes. Yeah, I did that. But I'm not going to say that I did. Because if I said that I did, I'd be admitting that I'm a criminal. And then you'd persecute me. You, Yang Ming, persecuting attorney. Xiao Yang, defense attorney, right? So here in the courtroom drama, these two arguments are being made. Guilty, acquitted on all charges. Whew. Well, who gets to listen to those two arguments, right? Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Order in the courtroom. Here come the judge. And here's your small intestine. This is your Tai Yang. Your great Yang energy is the judge. Cuts the line. Separate the true from the false. And of course, both the prosecuting attorney and the defense attorneys are going to try to obfuscate, right? They're going to try to cloud and vagueify that truth. And it's the judge's job or the jury to listen. So that small intestine, Tai Yang energy flows up the back of the arm from that pinky finger. It flows up to the cheekbone and then back to the ears. So there's a really interesting point on the small intestine channel right here on the peak of the cheekbone. It's called the cheekbone hole, small intestine number 18. I love this point because notice its placement. It's halfway from the ear to the nose. It's under the eye and above the mouth. So it's basically taking into account these four major sensory functions: seeing, smelling, hearing, tasting. I smell a rat. I see the problem. What you're really saying is, this is what I'm hearing. Is this what you're really saying? That doesn't taste so right. Puts a bad taste in my mouth. Small intestine, see, is related to all of these sensory functions and continues back to this ear point. If you open your jaw, you drop into a little hole right in front of the flap of the ear, small intestine 19. And that point is your listening palace. That's where you want to listen to the real underlying truth of what's going on. If that defendant pled the Fifth Amendment, does that mean they're guilty or they're innocent? Innocent or guilty? Innocent or guilty? Listening palace. Ever see a dog cock their head to the side? Listening to you. Yeah. So that's small intestine. So 3 characters in the courtroom show up in our Yang Ming, Xiao Yang, Tai Yang, Wuji. Tai Yin, Shui Yin, Xiao Yin, Tai Yang, Xiao Yang, Yang Ming. Wuji. 6 divisions of yin and yang, Meridian Qigong. Movements and awareness of acupoints. The more you know your points, the more you know where the meridians flow, the more you can relate them to the functions of your body, your mind, and your spirit. And balance, find balance. Notice where you're out of balance. Meet it with love and compassion. And ask it to come back into balance. As we go into our Wuji today, contact your microcosmic orbit, the small heavenly circle meditation that circulates the midline vessels. There's a pearl of light flowing up and down the midline. Know that this midline vessel that moves through the center of your body from root to crown is the sea of yin and yang. And as it expresses itself toward the front body, that is the sea of yin. As it expresses itself in the back body, that's the sea of yang. So all of those yin channels, tai yin, shui yin, shao yin, are correlated to the front midline. And all of the yang vessels, tai yang, shao yang, yang ming, are all correlated to the back midline. Standing in Wuji, we balance yin and yang. Knees slightly bent, elbows bent, chin parallel, eyes barely open, tip of the tongue on the top palate, gentle deep breath. Still have a few minutes. I realized there's a little more hara areas to look at. The bladder is right down above the pubic bone. The kidney is just above that. The large intestine is just above the hip bones and inside. The small intestine goes deep. We did the stomach and the gallbladder, the liver and the triple warmer. We have the heart up here, under the xiphoid process of the sternum, the pericardium and the spleen, the kidney and the bladder. The intestines, large and small, and the lungs. We can play with those more and deeply at another time, but your belly is the reflex area for your 12 channels, all circulating around the dantian. Where is the weight on your feet? Radiant heart pulls down the heavens 3 times. Hold the chi in front of your heart center. And let's tumble the chi 9 times. Forward, down, close to the body, and up. Like tumbling stones in a polisher. Three more times. Last time around. One more radiant heart. Soil, water, wind, sun, moon, and stars. All joining in your heart center. All your meridians activated. Now would be a beautiful time to sit in meditation. Feel your whole being coming into centered balance. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that practice tonight. Send me your comments in the section below, wherever that section is. Send me an email. Have a great week. See you next week.